This podcast is part of the Gonna Geek Network. The opinions expressed may not represent other podcasts or affiliates of Gonna Geek. Check out more podcasts at gonnageek.com and get ready because geekiness starts in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe podcast. This is podcast number 65 on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 13, One of Us. This podcast is recorded on Wednesday, March 18th, 2015. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, and the general Marvel comic universe.
Because we're quaking in our little S.H.I.E.L.D. boots.
If you'd like to talk to us about our little S.H.I.E.L.D. boots, you can find all of our contact information on our website, legendsofshield.com. There you'll find our voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS1. That's 844-843-2871. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube by searching for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we have forums available at forums.gonnageek.com, or you can search for Gonna Geek, which is all one word, on the Tapatalk app.
I have been on the forums lately. I don't know about you ladies, but I have been enjoying the heck out of it. It's been great. And then also, we have some new places that you can listen to us. And what am I talking about? If you're on Windows 8, you can go to the Podcast Source app. And even though it's not new, I just found out about it. And it comes with my media storage plan, but you can go on your Windows 8 phone or Windows 8 and download the Podcast Source app or Tile or whatever they call it, and you can find us there. You can also find us on Spreaker, which a lot of people have been, so thank you very much for that. And we are also on Mixcloud, which is another storage place. This is all places where you can stream us, and also Soundcloud. Now, I will warn you, on Soundcloud, you will only get the last 1 or 2 episodes because I'm cheap and I went with the free plan there. And in addition, you can also find us at Stitcher, on iTunes, on gonnageek.com, at legendsofshield.com, and if you're really adventurous, you can find our media storage site at legendsofshield.libsyn.com. So we have a lot of places where Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. has gone.
I thought you were going to say the moon when you said that you could hear us in more places, but I guess we're just going to have to be a little bit more ambitious. Try to get S.H.I.E.L.D. to the moon.
To Mars.
I could put a satellite dish up in the backyard right now.
Okay,
Do
yeah.
it.
Do it.
I'll do it by 2 a.m. We'll be broadcasting up there. Yay! All right. This is something that I'm really excited to hear about because I have not yet heard Haley say anything about it. You went to a con last weekend and you did a bunch of stuff. So tell me all about it.
Okay, long story short, I met Ming-Na Wen.
Woohoo!
Ha 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 ha. I got her autograph. She signed my Providence S.H.I.E.L.D. badge, which is awesome. And then I got my picture taken with her.
I saw that on the table. That was awesome.
I saw that. It's amazing.
If you want to see that picture, check out my Twitter account, Awesome Engineering Girl. It's AWSMENGRGRL. So you can see me there with her. And the whole thing was pretty awesome. Probably at some point in the next few weeks, we'll start leaking out little bits of audio that I recorded there. So you'll be able to hear Sean Gunn telling Michael Rooker, "Children, Rooker, children."
That's great.
There was just a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, we haven't discussed what audio that you've actually come back with yet, so I'm really excited to hear all about that and share it with you guys too, so that'll be great.
All of it. All of the audio is what I came back with.
All of it. That is awesome. All right. So this week we had another, in my opinion, it was another great episode. What do you ladies, early yay, nay, thumbs up, thumbs down? What do you think?
I like it.
I really liked watching it. I think I liked last week's a little bit more, but on the whole, this episode was fun.
It was.
Yeah, I feel like this episode was setting up stuff for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it was. Even though there was bad stuff that happened or like setting up or whatever, it wasn't too ominous. It was pretty good. Okay, so the episode title is One of Us. It's the 13th episode of the second season, so we're just over halfway. It's a 22-episode season, so actually our mid-season premiere episode was our halfway episode. It was written by Monica, and she goes by two different names on IMDb. Monica Breen, this is another pronouncing thing that I'm just not going to get.
It looks like Owusu to me.
Yeah.
Me too.
So Monica Owusu Breen, she has an extensive background. First of all, she's been a co-producer on all of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes so far. And she was a co-executive producer on 12 episodes of Revolution and 43 episodes of Fringe. And this episode had a lot of Fringe feel to it. So that's pretty cool. 8 episodes of Lost, 22 episodes of Alias, 12 episodes of Charmed, too. And she's got tons of writing and editing credits as well. So she is really established in the industry. So I'm not surprised that this episode was the way it was. And it was directed, and this is another name that I have problems with, even though it's Marissa's last name.
Kevin Tankeron.
Yeah, okay. Kevin Tankeron, who is related to Marissa. And he has 11 episodes of Mortal Kombat Legacy direction behind him, and not too much of a history on IMDb beyond that, but I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as we were stating, this episode was well put together. I think the producers and the writers are all getting into this, and it's just leading to the second half of the season so far has probably been if you want to break up the entire 2 seasons into quarters, like the first half we'll call of season 1, we'll call the pre-Winter Soldier, and then the few episodes that came after, we'll call that the second half. So we'll just do that. And of those two, definitely the second half was the better half of the first season. The first half of the second season, still dealing with a lot of the fallout from Winter Soldier, but I think right after Winter Soldier was probably better with all the Garrett stuff going on and everything. But this post Atalan has been probably my favorite so far. It's only 3 episodes, so we'll see. But so far, this is my favorite quarter of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'd have to agree. It seems like the second half of both seasons have definitely been the stronger halves. And I really love what they're doing right now. They're kind of getting away from having to rely so much on everything else as a crutch and really getting into doing their own thing. We have their own established characters. They're not really relying so much on call-outs to the rest of the MCU. Though, we still do have those elements, as we saw very clearly from them looking for Fury's notes and from people making references to Captain America and stuff like that. And with, at the end of the episode, the other S.H.I.E.L.D. reveal.
Yeah.
Right now they're really finding their own groove with trying to figure out not only how they are as new S.H.I.E.L.D., but how to deal with this new, I don't want to say threat, although so far we have not seen it as anything but a threat, but like the new status quo of having the Inhumans.
Yeah, the very end with the, as Adam put it in the chat, the Adama S.H.I.E.L.D. reveal. And yeah, okay. It's going to be interesting to see how that all comes out. I'm wondering exactly, have they been infiltrated? Has this been there the whole time? Is this really another organization that they're just calling themselves S.H.I.E.L.D. so they can fit in a little bit? There's a lot of questions that will start to be answered next week.
Right. I will say, I don't think they've been infiltrated. I think Max said they came from the wreckage of the last S.H.I.E.L.D., so they've probably taken the same precautions that Coulson did in screening people coming in.
But then why would they be working against each other?
Well, I don't think... Okay, so from the brief, this is again skipping all the stuff in the episode and just going to the brief little glimpse that we saw in the preview. One of the people at the table, unless I'm very much mistaken, is the head of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Science Academy.
Oh, we've been wondering where she was.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but I've been thinking about her the whole time.
I can't remember her name either, but she's really familiar. I've seen her in a bunch of other stuff, which is why I recognize her. And so I'm wondering, because, okay, Coulson and his team, since they've been off doing their own thing, they may as well be the S.H.I.E.L.D. Splinter Group. We know that they have Fury's blessing, but it's not clear how many other people know that, especially post Fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. And these people, they were already all together in one big place, and they had to do their own kind of consolidating and figuring out who was loyal. So they probably would see themselves as the true S.H.I.E.L.D., and they probably don't trust this guy who is back from the dead and throwing himself around and saying that he's in charge now.
I have no idea. And I was wondering, the shield looks streamlined, but it kind of looked a little bit more pointed, looked a little bit more stern than the round shield or logo or whatever you want to call it. So it seems like it's more serious all the way around.
I feel like the rounder shield, it makes me think more of the 60s comics. And then this more angular one looks like a lot more modern version of the logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the more angular one with the stars in the middle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The 3 stars or whatever that was. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was 3. It was like one big one in the middle and then 2 smaller ones on either side.
It actually looked like shield in the shield shape versus the round shape, which I guess if you've been watching Vikings, round is a shield.
Yeah.
And you should be watching Vikings. It's really good.
You should be.
You should be. We could talk about that later. But the one thing that I was wondering, and I write this at the top of my notes, like, where are the Koenigs? Where is Raina? Where's Warden Agent 33? And for the Koenigs, I was wondering, because we haven't seen them in the S.H.I.E.L.D. hideout, the Coulson S.H.I.E.L.D. hideout, since the first episode. So I'm kind of or first episode of the second half, so a couple episodes. So I'm kind of wondering, which S.H.I.E.L.D. are they attached to now? Are they still Coulsons or are they Indomitus?
I think they're Coulsons. I think just right now, this is a, behind the scenes kind of thing. I think they're trying to save money by not having all of the actors in all of the episodes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see Patton Oswalt again later this season.
Especially after you bump up Bobby to series regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's one of those use Patton Oswalt sparingly things. Plus, I wonder if he was still filming Justified at the time.
Yeah, he was great.
I don't know how those filming schedules overlapped.
I think he was only in one episode.
Oh, I can tell you, Ming-Na Wen did say they had 3 episodes left to film.
Yes.
When she was at ComicCon.
Well, we'll get this later, but there was an interview with Clark Gregg, and he mentioned that he was just going to get the script this week for the episode following the Avengers 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. In any event, okay, so back to this episode, and one thing that just struck me, and it's probably just me, when I was growing up, I don't know if I just saw it on TV a lot or whatever, but I watched that stupid movie Escape to Witch Mountain several times, and they had that Winnebago, right? So when Cal is pulling up to the Marvel's version of Arkham and in the Winnebago, I just kept on thinking, oh, this is Witch Mountain right here. This is 1975 Winnebago.
See, I kept thinking Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah. I would have, too, if I would ever watch that, but I haven't yet.
I don't know if it's your type of show.
And that's what I keep hearing, so that's why it's not a priority.
Yeah, it's good, but yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't be in a hurry to move it up your list, considering your type of show. But I mentioned on Twitter when I was doing the live tweeting, I can't help but like Cal. I know he's twisted. I know he's a bad guy. But he's just so gleeful.
He's fun to watch.
He really does think he's doing the right thing, which Road to Hell is paved with good intentions and all. But he really does make a certain amount of sense in that S.H.I.E.L.D. has not had the best record at helping people with powers, these gifteds. They just kind of either lock them away or put them down. And so there is a point to bringing them out in the open and trying to help them. But the way that he goes about doing it, especially with getting these particular group of people, maybe not the best way.
No, it's not. He is consumed by a lot of rage, a lot of revenge, and knowing his history, you kind of get that. But one thing I liked at the very end, when he's in that red room, the same room that we saw Daisy's mom in helping Gordon through his transformation, Sierra, and we see all the broken stuff and everything. At the end, Gordon's like, okay, nope, that's for somebody else to decide. So he just calmly puts on his jacket and he's like, okay, well, this is what it's going to be. And he just calmly walks away. It's like, okay, the man's got some style to him.
Yeah. Oh, also, okay. So a big thing in this episode was backstory. We get a bit of Cal's backstory, a bit of why he's so, let's use his word, let's use volatile. We get his whole Mr. Hyde backstory. We get a little bit of Coulson's backstory. We get a little bit of May's backstory.
We actually get a lot of May's backstory.
Yeah.
We get the fact that she likes Vegas. We get the fact that
she
they eloped. We get the fact that she was divorced and He's her husband, which is great. Oh, by the way, Blair Underwood, L.A. Law, I watched that as a kid. It was so great seeing him back on the screen again.
Oh my God,
great.
that was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was a big thing, by the way, back in L.A. Law. He was considered like the token African-American on TV at that point in time, or at least in a legal office sort of show and everything like that. So it's really great seeing him all these years later and seeing everything that he's done in the past too, which he hasn't done a lot of big projects, but he has done a lot of smaller ones along the way. So when you have all that revenue coming in from LA Law, which probably isn't a lot these days, but
yeah, back in the day it was a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, they probably didn't pay him that well,
yeah,
considering that, the huge salaries wasn't really a thing until like Seinfeld and Friends.
But it was great seeing him. And then when there was that kind of awkward scene, well, it wasn't awkward, but the scene between May and what's his name? I want to say Dr. Gordon, and that's wrong.
That's not right.
Like Gardner or something, maybe?
His name was Andrew, right?
Yeah, it's so bad. I don't know. Anyway, when they were talking, it's been a long time. So it was like, okay. So I spent like 5 minutes and I went on both their IMDb's and I had two windows up with both their IMDb filmographies. And I was like, oh, could they have been in this? To my knowledge, that was their first scene together. So I was thinking maybe they had been in something, but they hadn't. And they just pulled it off so great. And he was the perfect guy because he gets in there and probably the only in that you could have with Skye at that moment to actually do her psych eval was to have something to share with her. Like, okay, here's May's past. Yeah, we elope and that sort of thing. And that opened it up to her. It was like, okay, this isn't somebody that's just writing down something because it needs to be written down for Director Coulson to make a decision. This is somebody that actually cares for me, is here for me, wants to help me through this. So that was a really cool scene there.
Maybe it's because I was reading Silence of the Lambs again the other day, but during that scene, all I could think of was the quid pro quo little exchange that they had.
Yeah.
Because she kept trying to badger him into telling her stuff because she didn't want to talk. And that's the way that he gets her to open up. He'll tell her something and then she tells him something because it's kind of a little exchange they got going on.
Did you actually have pillow talk or was it more like
pillow stern looks? I'd like to imagine that that's the thing.
Right. Oh, and Skye, she was struggling so much and you just wanted to help her through.
And Simmons kept being like, oh, we need to sedate her. Pharmaceutical psychotherapy or pharmacological or whatever she said. I was like, Simmons, rein it in.
I get where Simmons is coming from, though. Skye is her friend and she wants to help her friend. And this is the only way she knows how.
Right. And she's trying, but at the same time, she's also just trying to figure it out. And there's that thing at the end. Don't tell anybody else. Coulson with
more
the secrets. Yeah. Coulson with the secrets.
Like, hey, this is New S.H.I.E.L.D. More secrets.
Cajun Sean, by the way, in the chat said it's Dr. Andrew Garner.
Garner.
So, yeah, all three of us were kind of right on that. But, okay, so Coulson with the secret of the cheese on the grilled cheese sandwich.
The biggest secret of all.
Right. You get a backstory on Manitowoc. By the way, I have been to Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
That's a place?
It is actually a place, yeah. And also I've been to the county in Ohio, so I've been to both places. But Coulson's secrets, he's trying to figure out Bobby's secrets. Of course, Bobby and Mac have the secret. And he's like, oh, where is Hunter? I don't understand. Where did he go? And her reveal about them sleeping together and then say, oh, he went for the bottle. I just don't think at this point in time Coulson bought any of that. He knows something's going on.
I don't know. That was actually a pretty plausible. Well, let me correct that. That would be a pretty plausible excuse for Hunter's behavior if it had happened a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. In the past few weeks, as Hunter's character has kind of grown, we've seen that maybe he wouldn't do that quite as easily as he might have sometime in the past.
Right. But how well does Coulson really know Hunter? I don't think it's that well.
He knew him well enough to invite him on the team. I think that's important to note.
I think he trusted him to be loyal, but he doesn't know him as a person that well.
I still think there's a bunch of red flags going up in his mind. He might not have it all figured out all in a row right now, but he knows there's something going on. It just doesn't sit right with him. You could tell after his conversation with Bobby, and if they weren't immediately diverted by Manitowoc, they would have gone down that road pretty quickly. And remember, in that conversation, he said, if you're thinking about a problem, think about something else, and that will jar your memory. I think that's going to be the same thing that happens with what's going on. Now, there just might be a reveal, like Bobby and Mac might get caught in the act of taking the toolbox or whatever, and he'll find out that way. But here's the thing, though. Bobby has stood up for this team. She fought for Skye last week. She did a bunch of good stuff. I don't think they're necessarily bad, but I just think they're going to end up gutting each other. I just have this Admiral Adama and Admiral Kane from BSG feel the whole time when the Pegasus came on and the two kind of vying against each other and everything. I had that feeling the entire time when it evolved that Edward James Olmos was coming out or the other Skye. I mean, it was just, you can't help but put that together in your mind. Anyway, I kind of skipped over something, but I want to go back to it because I think it's important. Simmons was looking at the extra macro molecules that the DNA wasn't changed, that was there the whole time, but that this Terrigenesis mist actually enhanced whatever was there to begin with. I think we're setting the stage for a lot of what's happening with the Inhumans in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and there's going to be a lot of backstory as Simmons tries to figure this all out.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're giving us all this technobabble, the sciencey explanation for it in the TV show, but when we get to the movie, it's probably just going to be, hey, here's these guys, they have superpowers and they're called Inhumans. So if you want that bit of information, you'll have to be familiar with the show.
Right.
Yeah. Something also in that scene, you first see, well, going back to Mockingbird real quick, when Fitz comes in, Simmons keeps saying, yeah, this was a special kind of betrayal. This is why I'm not going to forgive him so quickly. And I think that's kind of hinting at either what's going to happen in the future with Bobby, or maybe Bobby having a conflict about being so quick to turn on this team, because she does like these people. She likes Skye. She likes Simmons. But at the same time, okay, and then unrelated to that, but related to Simmons and the science babies rift growing, when they're talking about May and Garner, and it's almost back to old Fitzsimmons right there when they're talking to each other and they're just kind of easy with each other. Oh,
you know, for a second in that scene, I thought he was talking to Head Simmons again.
Oh, I didn't even remember that. But of course it wasn't. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so talking about May and Garner, the picture on Garner's desk, what do you think that was?
Well, his wife.
Well, do you think it was a picture of him and May in a happier time? Do you think it's his daughter?
Oh my God, what if it is? Well, no, May would probably ask about.
She would probably be aware if they had a child.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
She could have had some eggs frozen and they used a surrogate mom.
Yeah, but she would probably have to consent to that, I would think.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. But what if she does have an estranged daughter? Because that would explain why he was still talking to her mother.
Yep.
Even though they're not talking.
Right.
Well, not necessarily. I do know some people who they're no longer in relationships, but...
Yeah.
You know, they still have... They're still on really good terms with their ex's
former
family.
In-laws. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who knows? It was something that they gave us that is definitely going to be brought back again. They didn't just say, oh, here's a picture of somebody. You're not going to see the picture. You know it's there, and we're not going to ever bring it up again. I just don't see that happening with the show.
No, and plus, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be in at least 1 or 2 more episodes.
Right. I think he's too big of an actor to not bring back again.
Mm-hmm. He is a tall guy. Watching him next to, when they were walking down the ramp of the plane at the very end when he was going to the SUV to drive off, I was just watching them and watching Ming-Na's gait as she was walking next to him, and he's stoic and walking in very fine, and she's just almost running to keep up with him because his stride is so much bigger than hers. Okay, question for you guys.
Yes.
In the football stadium, why didn't Gordon take Skye and why did he take Cal instead?
Because Cal was causing, on a macro level, more trouble for...
He was making too much noise.
Yeah, he was making more trouble for the Inhumans as a whole. So they needed to bring him in and teach him a little lesson. And Skye, because she's somewhere where she's not in as much danger and she's not alone and everything, she can wait. That's what I figured.
Man, we all keep calling her Skye, but she could go by Daisy or Quake.
She named herself Skye.
Yeah, okay.
She's Skye.
Fair enough. Okay. Oh, so I can't remember his name, but the man in the Hannibal mask, when they're having...
Oh, okay. So, just real quick, of the, whatever...
The Talon team?
Yeah, the Talon team, whatever Cal called them. Cal is not good at naming things.
Slasher Talons.
But 2 of those characters are actually comic book characters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Carla Faye Gideon was a really minor character in a Daredevil arc. She was not superpowered, although she was an abused wife. The guy with the Hannibal mask is actually Angar the Screamer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're fairly sure that the really strong guy, Francis Noche, is actually this guy called Ajax.
Ah,
We know Ajax. His first name is Francis. We don't know much else about him. I think he might also be a Daredevil villain, but I'm not real sure.
huh. Well, I could definitely see them trying to do crossovers with Daredevil. This is a great way to introduce characters that are seemingly one-offs.
But these guys, if they're going to be villains, they're kind of lame.
Fair enough.
These are not the A-Team.
Right. But you could cross over.
They're whoever Cal could get quickly and
That's
easily.
true. On his cell phone. Hi, what are you doing
No,
tonight?
he was going door to door.
I loved when Dre De Matteo's character just slammed the door in his face.
Would you like this complimentary copy of The Watchtower?
And she opened the door back up and they're all just still there and he's smiling. It was great. Okay. So the man in the Hannibal mask, Angar, he's having breakfast. Well, he's not actually having breakfast, but the team is having breakfast at this roadside diner. He's got this Hannibal mask on. Do you think somebody's going to call the cops?
Seriously, why didn't they take that off before they went out to eat?
I don't know. But it was cool CGI when he actually did that thing.
Yeah, that part was okay, but when they showed the CGI for the other guy tearing the gate apart, that was not quite as good.
Oh, May versus Francis. That was an awesome fight.
Oh my god, the slow motion walk towards there, I was like, yeah, at that part. That was so cool.
I know. I got that written down in my notes too. That was awesome. The slow-mo walk. Charging in on Roid Guy is what I said. Some great fights. May charging in on Roid Guy. Love the slow-mo. And that was some good choreography at the end with the multiple, 4 different fights, I guess. Well, Coulson took on 2 guys himself.
See, I thought these fights, there were a lot of parts where there were some good moves and there were bits of the fights that were really good, but then there were other parts of it that looked kind of clunky and not quite as smooth and polished as we've seen in the past.
Fair enough. When Bobby lost one of her batons when she went back to the stand to reach for it, I'm like, that just doesn't look right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically every part with May was wonderful.
Always.
Coulson just basically going like all out football guy and just tackling people.
Right.
His dad was a football coach.
Exactly.
Okay, so they showed what's-her-face with the claws in her nails,
Yeah.
and they're like permanently surgically grafted. I was like, why couldn't they just take those out?
I know. You'd think that's an easy fix.
Right.
And also, oh my god, she just kept... I mentioned this on Twitter, and still just watching this episode again earlier, this still freaked me out. Okay, I have had a broken bone that has been in a cast before. That was only for a few months. Like 2 months. Few weeks, I should say. And when they take your leg out of it, it's all gross. There's just all the stuff that's accumulated under there. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
How long has she had her hands in there?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
How disgusting must her hands be?
Yeah, because they took a plasma torch to cut it off.
Yeah.
Okay, when they first took those things off, I thought they were showing her fingernails had gotten long and gross, and her ability was just touching people, like before you got a good look at the razors.
No, and then that's the guy with his face too, where it's like welded onto his head, and she's just like touching his face. Okay, and then right after they take the things off of her hands, and she's like using them to eat with. No!
Ugh.
Just, ugh!
This is the grossest supervillain team.
Well, anybody that hangs out with Cal, do you think they actually wash their hands? No.
I know that's a really minor thing to be upset about, but that just upset me on a really visceral level.
That's acceptable.
Right.
Like, that guy's... Okay, I really like that she did have to use the knives to peel away the skin, because after a while, your skin would start growing into that stuff. There are so many cases where, like, people who don't change their clothes enough, their skin starts growing into the clothes, and it has to be surgically removed.
Or people that just stay on the couch and then they have to be surgically removed from the couch.
Yeah, there's people who have to been surgically removed from couches and toilets and...
Did not know that. From toilets?
Yeah, underwear. Yeah, this happened like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago.
Oh, man. And there was no super glue or liquid nails involved or anything?
No,
it's
just
your skin grows into the material.
Yeah.
Well, I was just figuring it was some super high-tech shield stuff that wouldn't meld with skin.
No, it's a horrible, horrible thing. It's like when you see, like, on Animal Planet, on Emergency Vets or whatever, do they even still show that?
I don't know. I never watched
Probably.
But when people bring dogs or cats in that they haven't been groomed in a long time and their skin starts growing into the collars. Yeah, it's like that, but with people. So yes, this is a thing, and that all just upset me greatly. So good job, S.H.I.E.L.D. You grossed me out more than anything else I've seen this week. And I watched Penny Dreadful.
You grossed Lauren out, and she watches surgical videos and stuff for fun. So good job.
This is true, I do.
Well, what was grosser, what you saw this week or the Tahiti thing on Coulson?
What I saw this week.
This week,
Wow,
yeah.
That's saying something.
Because it's got that reality to it.
Yes.
That, this is something you could possibly see. It was, ugh.
Yeah.
So Kazan Sean in the chat said they're the B- team from Robot Chicken. Well stated, Sean. Well stated. All right. So Simmons actually labels two types of people on the index, gifted and enhanced, which are man-made.
No. It was enhanced and other.
Oh.
Yes.
Gifted is what they called them before.
Which one would be the man-made? Is that the enhanced?
Enhanced, yes.
Yes.
Okay. And the other would be like Skye.
Yes.
Yes.
And
There's
Raina.
something innately different about them.
And Gordon.
Since we can't call them mutants.
And she doesn't know they're Inhumans yet.
Yes.
Yeah, well, okay. Fair enough. Well, they know that it's something to do with the Kree.
Right, but they don't know that word yet.
Okay. All right. I'm reaching the end of my notes. What do you ladies have?
It was nice seeing Drea de Matteo again. Sons of Anarchy just ended fairly recently-ish, so she was on that as well.
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned this in the chat up to this point, but a lot of us expected to see Sierra walk through when
Yes.
Gordon says, "That's not up to me."
Yep.
That would have been awesome.
Oh, that would have been so good.
I did not even think of that. I figured he was going to go, talk to Black Bolt.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't feel like these guys know Black Bolt. I don't think they're going to use him yet.
Yeah, we've got a lot. Wow, it's 2019, right?
Watch next week Vin Diesel shows up.
That'd be awesome. Especially with the cross-promotion with Fast and Furious. That'd be awesome. All right. Haley, do you have any quotes this week?
Yes, I do. The first set of quotes all goes with the trust theme that was in this episode. So, Simmons says towards the beginning of the episode, "A betrayal of trust like that, it changes everything." And then Hunter says to Mac, "Lies, that's what I remember." And then at the very end, Phil says to Simmons, "Keep this between us, don't bring anyone else in."
Right.
So I feel like trust and lies and secrets, there are going to be major issues going forward this season.
And I thought we were done with it. Guess not.
Nope. Okay, more quotes. "When I multitask, I make mistakes."
Yes, I thought about that too, because when she took off in the jet with Garner and Skye in the jet, I thought that was a mistake. They should have not been allowed off the base.
I don't know why she did that.
Oh, something I don't know why we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah?
Skye breaking her own arms.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh.
She shifted
Yeah.
to internally.
Yeah, this is why you need to, let it all out and not internalize things.
She's vibrating her own bones apart. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Raina was saying last week, or the week, last week. No, the week before. That her insides feel like gravel.
Yeah.
She cuts herself when she moves. It's not fun being an Inhuman.
No, it's
No.
not. No. And Simmons saying, "Okay, I fixed you up. You have these neat little casts that will minimize the damage and will enhance healing and stuff." And May's like, "Nope, that's not what she means. Skye, we're going to help you through this." That was an awesome May moment.
I wonder also what that tells you about May, because we know that she had those anger issues after touching the anger staff of Asgard.
True.
And if she's the one who taught Skye this technique, how much is she internalizing that anger?
I think she's been internalizing anger for a long time.
Yeah, especially after her interactions with her ex-husband, where he's like, "Yeah, this not talking to me thing, it wasn't acceptable when we were married, it's not acceptable now." And
There's a reason they're divorced.
yes, there is a reason they're divorced. So they're going to need to find something that works for Skye that's not just internalizing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the answer is to externalize it on Cal and Ward.
Yes, especially Ward.
I did like her Microsoft smartwatch, by the way. I did notice that. It kind of looks like a Fitbit, but I know it's at one of the new Microsoft smartwatches, and I did enjoy seeing that. I'd kind of like one. If I could wear a watch, I would definitely wear that. All right, any more quotes, Haley?
Yes. He listens for a living and she doesn't speak.
Yep.
And let's see. The last one. "You're not one of us. You're a science experiment."
Yeah, that was harsh.
Ice cold, Gordon.
That
Ice cold.
was. Wow. I mean, you got to think he was one of them at one point in time, at least part of their family when Sierra was around.
See, I think we're going to find out he was never really accepted by them. He's always been trying to be one of the cool kids, but not.
Yeah. Well, he scored Sierra, so he's got some mojo going. Or was it a Starbucks drunken thing with, what's his name?
See, I wonder if the serum thing he started doing, if that was after she died. It was his way of making himself powerful enough to avenge her death.
That's kind of what I figured.
Okay. So, do we have anything else to say about the episode right now? We all out?
Yeah. As far as I can think of off the top of my head, I'm done.
Yeah, same here. Really looking forward to next week. I mean, this is an ongoing story, so really enjoying it. And with that, we're off to the news. This week, I did a little research. I did a little homework. You're going to like this. So, talking about ratings, have been talking about the Live Plus 7 ratings quite a bit, right? So, I went back and I looked at the entire Agent Carter run, the 8 episodes, and really it's 7 because they treated the first 2 as one. And I tried to look at what exactly was the Live Plus 7. Now, there's 3 separate weeks, unfortunately, that we don't have firm Live Plus 7 data because Nielsen didn't release it, or the network didn't release it, or something like that. So basically, the increase was around the 50 to 60% mark for the L plus 7 ratings. And if you take a look at all the other shows out there, it varies between like 30 and 60%. And the really good shows get like 80 to 100% Live plus 7. So basically, there are some shows that double their numbers throughout the entire week of viewing. So it gives you some context on what's going on there. If I get time, I will do research into the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. numbers. But for now, the Agent Carter numbers started off around 7, went down to 4, and they got about 50% of an increase over 7 days. So
I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just doing the math in my head and looking at the numbers last week, it was around like 75% increase.
Yeah.
From DVR ratings.
Well, it's been incredibly good shows, and once you get word of mouth, people will go back and watch that stuff on demand or whatever. So that's pretty good. What do we got for this week, Haley?
This week, we're up from last week, which is good, because last week was not very good.
That was bad.
We're up to 4.29 million, which is right around where it's been for most of the season. So if we can hold that through the next few weeks and then spike up a little bit towards the end as we go into the finale, I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
Like I have anything to do with it, but yes. Go team.
I have to believe that part of it was spring break. I just have to believe that, whether it's true or not. I just hope that's what it was, and then we'll get right back on the board as we go forward. So that will be cool. So on to the regular news items. There was an interview with Adrian Palicki and Nick Blood on their views of the Mockingbird and Hunter's rocky relationships and their characters. And I read this interview, and they didn't say too much, but they did state that they expected their relationship to be hot and cold. And like we were saying before, between May and Andrew, there's a reason why these two are apart, and that will keep on keeping on. So I don't know if their relationship will mend over time, but they seem to enjoy this type of relationship as it goes forward. And of note, Nick Blood said that he kept on asking, what organization do Bobby
Morse.
Thank you, Agent Morse. What agency does Bobby Morse and Mac work for? And they wouldn't tell him.
Mockingbird.
Yeah, the Mac. There you go. I forgot about that, Mockingbird. What agency do they work for? And they wouldn't tell him. They wouldn't tell him. And wouldn't tell him. And he said it was the most annoying thing until Clark Gregg said, "Remember what happened to us last year? Deal with it." And he was like, okay. So he's like, it's really cool. I know what it is now. I know what it is. I'm not going to tell you, but I know what it is. So it was a fun interview to read from that perspective. And then moving on, as we mentioned before, we've seen scenes of Edward James Olmos leading, I assume, this new S.H.I.E.L.D. or the real S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. But also, we have a long-term question, or last 4-month question, resolved because Lucy Lawless is going to return in a episode.
Woo!
Right. Okay, so Edward James Olmos is going to be playing Robert Gonzalez, which would normally make me very excited, but there's something else that trumps that news, and that is that Lucy Lawless is returning as Agent Hartley.
Woo!
And we don't know in what capacity she's going to be returning as. It's possible that it's just a flashback. All we know is that she's going to be back. But I hope that she's going to be back with like a robot arm and be on the show for a little bit. Like, that's what I want. That's all I want.
She did say that she did appear on the show to begin with as a courtesy because she really enjoyed the team that was working on the show and everything.
Right.
So she said that if she does come back, it's going to be as a one-off character. It's not going to be as a regular character because she is busy with other projects.
Yeah, she said she would return as her schedule allowed. I'm hoping her schedule allows her to return for 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
In which she can have a robot arm and beat up Nazis.
She is going to be pretty busy, though, considering that she got cast in the Starz or Showtime, I forget which, I think it's Starz, Evil Dead series. It's her and Bruce Campbell together again.
So if she's on Starz again, is she going to be showing her boobs again?
Possibly. I don't know. We'll see.
Lawless boobs. And I was a little bit disappointed that she wasn't in the series finale of Parks and Rec.
I thought you were going to say I was a little bit disappointed by Lawless boobs and we were going to have to fight.
No. Not the case whatsoever. I was just disappointed that she wasn't in the last few episodes of Parks and Rec because I kind
of expected to see her again too.
Yeah.
Ditto.
I think that it was just a schedule thing that she might have wanted to do it and she just couldn't fit in her schedule. So
I've been shocked that she hasn't been in more episodes of Parks and Rec since they introduced her character.
Yeah.
But
true enough. So moving on here, we did get an interview trying to bring it all, or an article, not an interview, trying to bring it all together and explain a little bit of what's going on with the Index, Captain America Civil War, and Avengers 2. So what do we got with that, Lauren?
Yeah. Comic Book Resources has an article called Unshielded, the Significance of the Index, Captain America Civil War, and More. It has a little bit of what we've been talking about, but mostly what is of interest to us here is how Coulson has begun to work with General Talbot. We saw that he was at least willing to turn in Bakshi to Talbot, and that they were putting people on the Index again, and that we've been talking about it. So what the author of this article, Megan Daymore, how I'm assuming it's pronounced, what she is postulating is that the Index and the people on it are going to be a catalyst, let's say, for Civil War, for the Superhuman Registration Act.
Yeah, I can see that definitely as building over time because you're just going to get more and more of that. I think Spider-Man will probably be the thing that puts it over the edge, but you're just going to have more and more of this uncovered in society as these TV shows and Netflix series and movies wear on. So, and then moving on here, Clark Gregg actually gave an interview, and it was a standard interview. Like, yeah, I'm enjoying working on S.H.I.E.L.D. and about his character or whatever. But he gave a little tidbit, and we mentioned it before, that he said that he expects the script to be in his hand soon to do some sort of a crossover. Now, we haven't had any significant news of a crossover between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Avengers 2. But we've all been expecting that there's going to you're going to have some acknowledgement, at least, that the story happened. And even if it's a Thor 2 sort of thing, where they're cleaning up afterwards, or there's some news story going on in the background on a TV as they're fighting their own battles or whatever, there's definitely going to be some crossover. So Clark Gregg said and this was 2 weeks ago, and the full interview clip that I'm talking about is about 3 minutes, 45 seconds long, and it was done by Entertainment Weekly. You can listen to it on SoundCloud. I put the link in the show notes, and it's fun to listen to, seeing where Clark Gregg kind of sees this happening. And as we were talking about, I believe last week, Clark Gregg is a little bit of a showman, but at the other hand, he knows stuff and he just doesn't want to get fired, sort of thing. He wants to make this Marvel machine move as much as it can. So I think that it's worth your listen if you haven't listened to it yet. Just hear exactly where he thinks things are going, and it'll be really interesting to see whatever crossover is about to hit our faces, in our eyes, in our senses, whatever, in May.
Well, it's possible that even the actors don't know what the crossover is going to be yet, because both Ming-Na Wen and J. August Richards made a point of saying Marvel is S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Marvel is S.H.I.E.L.D. Don't screw with the management. No. They know when you're sleeping. And the text messages and the phone calls that come through for numbers that don't quite have enough digits on them and stuff like that. Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Yep.
The Marvel snipers will take you out.
Right. Talking about big Marvel, Joss Whedon gave an interview to Marvel. I forget the Marvel reporter's name, but they put a couple of snippets on YouTube, one of which was Joss Whedon talking about James Spader and Ultron. And one of the key things that he was saying that I thought was fun was, yeah, James Spader wears glasses and we had to do mocap with him because, of course, he's wearing this big suit, right? So they actually did mocap with Mr. Spader. And in order to do that, they had to take off his glasses and then put cameras on his face that shone light right into his eyes. So he's basically blind as he's trying to claw himself around a perilous set, with piles of junk around and stuff like that. So
poor dude.
Yeah, Joss was saying he was a big trooper. It was really difficult for him, but he pulled through and it'll be fun to watch on the big screen. Also, talking about Avengers Age of Ultron, we have a couple of new posters.
Yes, we do. We've been seeing a lot of the character posters recently, and the newest ones are the twins, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, looking very Quicksilver and Scarlet Witchy, and it still weirds me out that they're playing siblings in this one. They were a married couple in Godzilla. But anyway, we also have Ultron being the sexiest person in the movie because he's the one that gets the butt poster.
Yeah. I did see his poster. That was funny.
Yep. He's striking the sexy pose. He's the sexiest robot.
Yeah, James Spader's got to be loving that. It's, he's been in a lot of different roles, and I know he's doing a phenomenal TV series right now, but I will always remember him as the original Daniel Jackson in Stargate.
Ditto. That and Secretary.
And he has no regrets about not being in Stargate SG-1 either, so...
Yeah, neither do I, because Michael Shanks was pretty great.
Michael Shanks.
Yeah.
Willie just put in a chat talking about Ultron. Bite my shiny metal ass.
That seems to be what he is saying in the poster, yes.
And he's thinking, kill all humans.
Well, exactly. Oh, so is Ultron Bender? Is Bender Ultron?
Exactly.
That would be amazing. He runs on booze. Well, he was created by Tony Stark, so...
Yeah, you never know what he runs on. Exactly. A biodegradable or biofriendly fuel. Yeah, that'd be great. So moving on, Captain America Civil War had a new extra call out. They're going to be filming something on April 27th, and they want a certain ethnicity.
Yeah.
Asian men and women in their own clothes, aged 21 to 75 in ethnic clothing. And their pay is $64 for 8 hours, but you get to be in Civil War, so yay. I don't know what this is. Everybody's speculating. We'll find out when Civil War comes out next year. But this apparently made a lot of news because they needed to have extra people. So again, sticking with the Marvel Cinematic Universe theme here, Robert Downey Jr., this was
amazing.
Again, with the heartwarming stuff. Marvel, you are great. And Robert Downey Jr., just the way he acted in here. Lauren, go ahead.
Okay. So I think we've spoken before about that company, those people that do the superhero 3D printed arms for kids with underdeveloped or no limbs. We talked about like the Iron Man one, the Wolverine one. So this kid was 7 years old and is a huge Iron Man fan. His name's Alex. Well, Robert Downey Jr. found out about this and wanted to get in on this. So he asked if he could present him with the arm. And on his Facebook page, he posted the video where he basically went in character as Tony Stark to present this little kid with the bionic arm. So they're both there in suits, and it's the most adorable thing. Like, everybody that I follow who's in the MCU was tweeting Robert Downey Jr. with, "Man, you are just awesome." It was great.
It was fun to watch. The cases with the arms in them were labeled as Stark Industries.
Yes.
And it was great, too, because the kid, he's like, okay, this is Iron Man, but what's my name? Oh, your name is Robert. It was like, oh, this is so cool. So the kid knows that this guy's an actor, but he also knows that this guy's Tony Stark and Iron Man. And what was really cute is the kid's arm actually kind of worked, but Robert Downey Jr.'s arm, the light didn't work where the repulsor was on the palm of the hand. He's like, okay, the light doesn't work, but yours works fine. It was really funny.
It's seriously adorable. He's basically completely in character as Tony Stark.
He is Tony Stark.
We have discussed before, Robert Downey Jr. is real life Tony Stark.
Except for, I don't know if he can actually pull off the mental engineering and science, but he portrays him well.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. Okay, also with the Iron Man theme, Reebok is putting out Iron Man sneakers. Yay!
Yay!
I don't think I'm going to buy these, but hey, if you're into Iron Man, you really want to have Iron Man around, go ahead and get them. I didn't see in the article if they said there was going to be, if these are kid sizes only or if adults could buy them, but it looks pretty cool.
They are Iron Man colors. Unfortunately, Iron Man colors do not look good on me, so I will not be buying them.
Yeah, they're USC colors, definitely. Or Minnesota Golden Gopher colors, as I prefer.
Golden Gophers?
Yeah, Golden Gophers.
That's a thing?
Yeah, there's like 80,000 students there, too. It's amazing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, go figure. All right, so also on the foot theme, you need feet to dance, or most of us do. And apparently there's some talk about the Baby Groot dance scene at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, apparently there's a reason that Groot quit dancing every time Drax turned around, and it wasn't just because he was messing with him. There was a scene cut earlier in the movie where Drax was not understanding the purpose of dancing while Groot was dancing as a big giant tree. And it's because, he's literal and he doesn't understand the purpose of dancing. What is the function? How is it useful?
If he was a mayor of a town, he would make it illegal.
So Groot quit dancing every time he turned around because he didn't want to be killed by Drax.
And he was already killed. I mean, come on. He was just, starting his new life. Yeah. That's a fun scene. Reading that story made me want to watch Guardians of the Galaxy again, right then. Unfortunately, I was at work and couldn't, but I will soon again, probably this weekend.
Force people you work with to act it out for your pleasure.
That's a good thing. Oh, I'm going to have to do that. I do have employees. They do work for me. I could that's a good idea.
Force people you work with to...
I'll let you know how it goes next week.
I am full of good ideas.
So, talking about good ideas, Marvel had another one with this next Daredevil transformation motion poster.
Yeah, so by motion poster, we mean a really short YouTube video that can probably be very easily GIFed, but this has sound. What it is we all saw the picture of Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock in the suit with the bloody knuckles, kind of adjusting his tie. So it's that, and then he looks down, and there's a shadow coming in, and he looks up, and he's in the black Daredevil ninja costume that we saw. And then it's like, Daredevil. And then he looks down again, and the shadow goes away, and he's back in the suit. So it looks pretty cool.
It is my favorite trailer, whatever you want to call it, motion poster for Daredevil pre-series so far. It is that good. Well, talking about other things that are good about Daredevil, I saw a story about 6 possible new cast members for Daredevil.
Right. We've got all the new cast members, and I looked through it. I don't know who any of these characters are supposed to be.
I was hoping you would.
Okay, I looked a few of them up.
Okay, Peter Shinkoda is going to be playing Nooooo. Do you know who that one is?
I don't know who the character is, but Peter Shinkoda has been in a whole bunch of stuff before.
Yes. I meant the characters. I didn't recognize any of these characters. Yeah. Actually, I don't think I recognized any of the actors either. Nikolai Nikolaev is going to be playing a character named Vladimir, whom I'm assuming is Russian.
We are assuming.
Yeah, it would be a good assumption.
Matt Gerald is going to play Melvin Potter.
That guy is a comic book character. In the Daredevil comics, he's somebody called the Gladiator, who is a costume designer with a grudge.
I know him. Him. Yes, I remember the Gladiator.
You understand that reference?
I understood that reference. Yes. He is one of Daredevil's super lame villains from the 60s.
Yeah.
Super lame. Yay.
I wonder if we're going to get to see Stiltman.
I think that might be one of the ones that's in this.
I bet they do something different with him than they did in the comics.
I really hope so.
Okay. Next up, we've got Wei Ching playing Madame Gao.
I don't know who Madame Gao is. I tried looking her up and I didn't get that.
No idea.
You found porn, didn't you?
No, actually.
Wow.
I know.
Very good safe search filter.
I'm sure it was on like the 3rd or 4th page.
Actually, I looked it up on the Marvel Wiki.
Okay, so. That's why you didn't find the porn.
Yes.
All right. Gideon Emery is going to be playing a character named Anatoly, who I am assuming is also Russian.
Fun fact, Gideon Emery is the voice actor for Fenris in Dragon Age 2.
Ooh.
This guy looks familiar. I don't know what I've seen him in, but he looks familiar.
He's been in a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
But he's also a voice in the Dragon Age games, and especially Dragon Age 2, and he's my favorite little grumpy elf.
Because every game needs a grumpy elf.
Yeah, this guy can like rip people's hearts out by sticking his hand in them. He phases through people.
That's not grumpy. That's
no, he's
destructive.
Grumpy. He's very grumpy.
That's like Dr. Harrison Wells.
He has reasons to be grumpy.
Okay.
Okay, and then the last new character that they announced is Rob Morgan is going to be playing Turk Barrett.
Who is also a comic book character, but he had like 3 different aliases, so I'm not sure which one's going to be.
I like any guy named Turk. That's great.
He was, I think, like a kind of a small-time criminal who worked with Daredevil's dad. And then, like, the picture of him on the article looked kind of like the stereotypical 70s pimp, if I remember correctly. He's wearing, like, a green suit.
We don't know anybody that has a 70s pimp suit, do we?
No, of course we don't.
Yes, we do, as a matter of fact. So, a friend of ours has a purple pimp suit, and it's got some pictures of that.
With matching top hat.
Yeah, it's an awesome cosplay, too.
It really is.
Talking about people that are all dressed up in purple, David Tennant visited Marvel.
Yes! So David Tennant is going to be the bad guy in Jessica Jones. And so he got to go visit Marvel Studios and took a bunch of pictures and is looking very adorably fanboyish and posing. Oh, wow. I just noticed the picture of him next to Jessica Jones.
Right.
On the mural.
Yeah, he was just having a ball.
Yeah. Oh, and there's him at a desk that's decorated with Doctor Who stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute.
And I assume it's CGI, but there is a picture of him with a purple face.
It's just basically a color-corrected photo.
Yeah.
It's not even particularly well done because the suit is also purple.
It'll be great seeing the Doctor again on TV, even though he's doing, what's that series that he's doing on BBC right now? Broadchurch?
Broadchurch, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll still be great seeing him in Marvel. Although, I agree with Haley. It's kind of a waste of him. He should have been somebody bigger.
Oh, I didn't say that was a waste of him.
Oh, you didn't?
That must have been somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
I think it was Wing.
Probably.
He's the main bad guy in Jessica Jones.
I know.
How is that not bigger?
I don't know. I think I was listening to our podcast number 53, which Wing was kind of ditzing on it or whatever. I don't know. He sounded like a girl at the time.
Why are you listening to Wing?
Oh, because I was just editing the podcast, so, you have to.
You had to.
Yeah, it was a requirement. I can't, mute the channel.
You could just mute that track.
Yeah, but then, then it makes no sense when the rest of us talk. Anyway.
Probably makes more sense.
Anyway, so talking about color correction and comics, we have a new comic-related person with Star Wars.
Yeah, so you know how Marvel owns the Star Wars comics now?
Well, Disney owns everything, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but Marvel gets to do the Star Wars comics again and release them. Well, Stuart Immonen, who is currently the artist for All New Captain America and has previously worked on things like Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, X-Men. He's done a lot of stuff. I really love his art. He and his wife, Catherine Immonen, both work with Marvel Comics. Love them both. But he, starting from Star Wars 8 on, is going to be doing the art. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yep.
Yep.
I have not heard anybody say anything bad about it. They were all disappointed. I can't remember who he was replacing, but they were all disappointed when they heard whoever it was leaving. And then they heard Stuart was coming in and they were like, yay! So yeah, this will be fun. And then in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. related news, we have a casting announcement.
Yes. Okay. So this was literally just announced right before we started recording. Ruth Negga, who we might all know as Raina, and who we've all been mourning because we haven't seen her this week, and because the last time we saw her, she was covered in spines. Well, she has a new gig coming up where she will not be covered in spines, and it's a new comic book gig. It's not a Marvel gig, but it's still a pretty big name one. She's the first actor cast in AMC's adaptation of Garth Ennis's Preacher, which is a fantastic comic, but you should probably not read if you're easily offended. It's one of my favorites, though. She's the female lead, Tulip, who is a really awesome character, and I really look forward to seeing her as Tulip.
Yep.
Who doesn't like flowers?
Yeah, she's like a sharpshooter, and yeah, she's another flower-identified character.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if she's going to be wearing flower dresses.
Probably not. Tulip is not really a dress-wearing character.
Yeah, you know who else is not really a dress-wearing character or actor? Jason Momoa.
I bet he would look good in a dress.
He probably would. He looks good in everything.
Probably pull it off, yeah, now that you mention it.
Well, he may or may not have said something this week. It's not been officially confirmed anywhere, But allegedly, while signing an autograph for a fan, they asked, can you write down a reason why all these DC haters out there should join our DC universe? And he wrote F Marvel and signed his name.
Only it wasn't just the F.
No, there was a few more letters after the F as well.
There was the whole word.
Yes.
I appreciate the self-censorship.
You're welcome.
We're trying. We're making the effort, unlike some people.
Yeah, so I saw this and...
Some people who shall remain, was it Lobster?
Totally named. It was Lobster.
Yes.
Right. Hi, Lobster. How you doing? Okay, so Jason Momoa, I wonder if he was in negotiation at some point in time with Marvel and it fell through.
He was, actually. If I remember right, he was originally in negotiations to play Drax.
Oh. Well, between Drax and Aquaman, I think he got better into the deal there, but maybe not. I don't know. Well, in any case, if this is true, he definitely has some industry issues, which...
It's okay. He's pretty.
Yeah, he's pretty. He was probably just doing it in a good bit of fun.
I did enjoy him in Stargate Atlantis. I really did.
Oh, yes. That's where I fell in love with him.
I think that's why I continued to watch Game of Thrones originally, because of his character. I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch. Because it probably was just because of him.
You like that he walked around half naked and didn't really say anything?
And that time you got to see his butt.
Now, from Stargate Atlantis, he just had a certain presence on him, and he was carrying that presence forward. Remember that little fight that he had that he actually got mortally wounded in?
Yep.
That was pretty cool. He stood up for what was going on, and he took care of business. And then business took care of him, unfortunately, but it's always great seeing him on screen. I do enjoy him, and I hope Aquaman does well. I mean...
That outfit, though, man, just,
It's pretty good,
looks
isn't it?
good on him.
All right, that's it for the news this week. Let's move on to feedback. So, feedback for the week on Twitter. We had a lot of feedback, of course, because we have interaction on Twitter because Lauren live tweets. Yay!
Yay!
But Christy at Adana Girl on Twitter tweeted us a few days ago and told us that Ming-Na has just been added to Dallas ComicCon. Yay!
Yes!
Woot! Are you going to go to that?
I'm really hoping to go.
Okay, good luck.
Yep.
I'm thinking about it too.
Oh, you totally should.
Yeah, that would be amazing. You should go.
I might know a person or two that you might be able to stay with in the Dallas area.
I know a few people in Dallas as well.
Okay. It's a big city.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Richard at Kodiak GWC on Twitter said, here is a new twist on Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought you would like that, Lauren.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow, that Groot is just the most not safe for work thing.
The rocket creeps me out, though.
What we're talking about is
oh my god,
a Twitter status talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy porn spin-off. So
okay, Lauren, I feel like you would be the person to know. You know, if it's animals, it's bestiality. If it's plants, what is it?
God, I don't actually know. Well, no, if it's a person dressed as an animal, so technically that's furries.
Yeah, that's true. You got nothing for plants. I'm sure somebody will.
I'm sure somebody...
I actually meant the act of having sex with an animal is bestiality, so I wanted to know what the act of having sex with the plant is.
Okay, well, the only one I can think of off the top of my head, thanks to 10 Things I Hate About You, is dendrophilia. Which I guess would technically be what it would be if you were having sex with Groot.
Right.
I might know a couple of friends that might actually know the answer to that, so I'll ask them.
Yeah.
Or they could find it quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Okay, it's ecosexuals.
Wow.
There you go.
A little bit of green. Eco. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at it.
I know. It's great, isn't it? And Richard, thank you. I might say that you need some help, but it's Guardians of the Galaxy, so I think that's fair game. Okay, so at Mr. Paracletes tweeted us and said, Warehouse 13 Pete and Cree-Pete are on a boat. Pete fell off. Who's left? Cree-Pete!
Pete and Cree-Pete are in a boat. Pete fell out. Who was left?
Hashtag joke remix. There you go. And Carol, who is in the chat with us tonight, hi Carol, tweeted us and she said, I bought my first Funko last night and it's your fault. He's on my desk.
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault. Yeah. He's on my desk and he is awesome.
He is awesome.
I like that little castle he's next to too. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Groot's castle.
So while I was at Kansas City Comic-Con, I got the little Baby Groot Funko figure. So then Carol and Christy both chatted with me about Funko figures for a little while on Twitter too. So good times.
Yeah, Funko figures are amazing, and I don't care what my husband says.
I need more of them.
I say pointedly looking at the office where he is questionably not listening to me.
Yeah. You're,
They're
Scott,
amazing.
Scott, you're welcome on the podcast anytime, buddy.
I have repeatedly told him this.
We can make it possible for you, Scott.
Yes.
Okay. And then Andy Ming-Na, he started direct messaging me, but I wanted to bring it up on the podcast here. I asked a question on Facebook, how are you guys liking the second season so far? And he said, I'm enjoying the second season overall. The Inhumans elements are new compared to Hydra, and now how factions appear in the team, plus Crazy Cal having fun. I think we mentioned that before. Crazy Cal is fun to watch. So thank you for that very much. And then we got into discussions about sweeps, weeks and months, and he didn't understand what sweeps meant. He understood what the ratings were. He just didn't understand the terminology of sweeps. And so we got to talking about football, and by that I mean soccer, not football, and it's a thrashing sort of thing. So it's all meant, it originated way back when this was actually used for ratings and advertising dollars, a lot more than it is today. And it was 1 week, 3 times a year. It was in October, it was in February, and it was May. And you had one show, your best effort to actually get the maximum ratings so that you can charge more for ads, basically. And that they were called sweeps weeks. And if you won, it was a big sweep. So that's what that terminology comes from. All right. We have some voicemails. Are you ladies ready?
Ready?
Ready.
Hey guys, it's Adam. Just calling with some feedback. A little less swamped this week. Yeah, I am kind of surprised that Gordon took Skye's dad instead of Skye. Hopefully she'll get the help she needs. Once they showed the braces on her hands, I was like, oh, her powers broke her own bones. She needs some kind of thing to stabilize, which is not quite what they said, but close enough. Yeah, and then I didn't really like any of the supervillain teams that Cal put together. Just all kind of just there ones. But not surprised he didn't have any real Inhumans on the team, because they probably wouldn't want to make too much noise, to quote Gordon. So yeah, apparently there's another S.H.I.E.L.D. But Fury was the one who put this one back together, so that should be fairly official. And from the previews, it looks like the head of this one is Edward James Olmos, so that'll be interesting too.
And for the record, Adam got cut off there. Sorry, Adam. And we will hopefully hear the rest of his stuff next week. But yep, villain teams and another S.H.I.E.L.D.
You know, I wonder if Fitz is going to build Skye like some sort of arm thing to help her channel her powers.
That would be totally Fitz.
Kind of like Surge from X-Men.
Right. Or like Havoc in the First Class movie.
Yeah, true, because she's struggling with how to control her powers and try to not damage, and she's trying to damage herself. So if there's some release that she could do that's directed and not omnidirectional, that'd be cool. Yeah, I like it. I like that reference. All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Yep.
What's up, guys? This is Agent Op. Real S.H.I.E.L.D. No, not really Real S.H.I.E.L.D. What is up with Real S.H.I.E.L.D., though? That's what I wanted to call about. I mean, I can see it because S.H.I.E.L.D. was not a tiny organization by any stretch, and I'm sure maybe an assistant director, played by Edward James Olmos, thinks to himself, okay, all this Hydra stuff happened under, just totally blame, Fury, and say, well, I don't trust Fury, so I'm going to do my own thing, and sets up his own little S.H.I.E.L.D. network, and, basically becomes Admiral Kane, and he just, oh my God, you see what I did there? BSG, man. BSG tie-in. He basically becomes Admiral Kane, and Coulson is Admiral Adama, and it's going to be that. And then Starbuck is going to be telling everybody to be friendly, because, we're all friendly and stuff. Anyway, talk to you later.
Can you tell we're all BSG fans, or most of us anyway?
Little bit.
Except it's going to be Hunter saying we're all friendly.
It's all cool, man. Yeah, Op, right there with you, was thinking that the whole time. I don't know anything about two different S.H.I.E.L.D.s in the comics or whatever. This might be off the reservation. This might be new. I don't know, but it's an interesting twist because we were all thinking it was going to be something else like Hammer or something. So this definitely is an interesting twist. Did not see this one coming. All right. We have a third and final voicemail. Are you ladies ready?
Ready?
Yep.
Hey, fan and friend of the show here, Willie Nelson. Now, I usually call in, joke about
Howard the Duck and Hulk are my two favorite Marvel characters and blah, 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 blah. But what I'm here to talk about now is my least favorite Marvel movie. You guys seem to keep putting it on up there, and I just don't understand it. Thor 2 was boring. I was so bored in that movie. Couldn't stand it. To me, it is the worst of all the Marvel movies. Worse than Iron Man 2, all of them. And for the record, Sitwell's dead, Hartley's dead. Permanent death. Thank you. You keep making them, I keep listening. You guys have a good time. Willie Nelson out.
Okay, so yes, Sitwell's dead. Hartley, maybe not so much. And about Thor 2, Loki, dude. Loki.
Loki and Darcy and Eric Selvig with no pants.
I loved CGI Asgard in Thor 2. It was beautiful, and the flying boats and everything, and Chuck out there. It was great.
Yeah, that funeral scene was amazing. I liked Thor 2.
I did too. I like it more after the first viewing. Like the first time I watched it, I didn't like it as much as I do watching it over and over again.
See, I liked it already in the first viewing, and I like it more on repeated viewings.
I could see where he's coming from. I really can't, especially the Dark Elves. They caught me totally by surprise, didn't have any history with them or whatever, and it was kind of scratching my head throughout the whole thing. But after I let that go, it's become a really good movie for me. I really enjoy it, but I can understand where he's coming from. So on the other hand, Incredible Hulk, while a good movie, Willie, I'll just say this again, it's just not up there on the top 10.
Yeah, the Dark Elves, I was disappointed.
I think it is in the top 10.
I was disappointed in the Dark Elves portrayal. But then again, if we were judging movies by weak villains, I would not like Guardians of the Galaxy as much as I do.
Yeah.
True. Truth.
Yeah, Nebula sticks out to me. Nebula could have been better. Definitely.
Ronan could have been better.
There was that scene that they cut. Well, yes. There's that scene that they cut between her and Gamora that was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would have liked to have seen more of that relationship. Sisters that are enemies and hate each other, but also kind of like each other. Good stuff.
Yeah, I had read a lot of the comics leading up to it that were recommended, so I kind of knew a little bit of the backstory there, but if I had not, I'd be like, what's up with these two? I don't get it. So I get that reference. I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right. Thank you guys very much for your voicemails. We really appreciate it. And is there any more feedback that you ladies want to talk about?
I don't think so.
All right. Take that as a no. We'll move on to getting out of here. I was Groot dancing in my chair on that. All right. Thank you guys very much. Thank you for downloading the cast and listening. We appreciate every single one of you. You can talk to us at any point in time. We enjoy conversing with you. Give us a feedback on the episode that was just out. Give us, or the movie as the case, or Netflix series or whatever. Your Science of Marvel questions. We got 3 engineering/science related people on this podcast. We would love to talk to you about certain things, like just how the capillaries would vibrate apart in Skye's arms and stuff like that. That'd be awesome.
Well, the capillaries did not technically vibrate apart. It was trauma that caused them to burst.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like high blood pressure?
Yeah, something like, I figure.
Okay. All right.
You know, like if you throw up a lot, you can burst the capillaries in your eyes.
Yeah.
I have never done that.
Oh, you are... I would say you're missing out, but you're really not.
Yes.
It's not fun at all, and then it hurts for a while afterwards.
I could make myself do that because I'm allergic to alcohol, so if I have like 4 stiff drinks all in a hurry, I could figure that out, but no thanks. All right. Next week, we're going to be talking about the next Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, number 14 in Season 2, Love in the Time of Hydra. Yes. So in the meantime, you can catch all our back content at legendsofshield.com. You can always give us a voicemail at 844-843-2871 or 844-THE-BUS-1. And the bus, the CGI of the bus this week. Just love it every time. And every time May does the thing with the throttle handle, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Okay. We also have a Facebook page at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., Twitter, Tumblr. Guess what? I am updating the YouTube channel finally. Yay!
Yay!
So hopefully from now on, I'll be able to keep up with that. Just got a little bit behind from the holidays, and 3 months later, I'm finally catching up. Also, we are getting more traction on the forum. So go to forums.gonnageek.com or use your Tapatalk app on your mobile device and search for Gonna Geek, all one word, and get there. And don't forget, we are also now found on Mixcloud, Spreaker, and Soundcloud. So check those out. And thank you again very much. Really appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah, and thank you to all the people that hit us up on Twitter this week, all the people that talked to me about Funko gear, and all the people that chatted with Lauren about the episode as she live tweeted. Thank you guys for participating in our madness.
And thank you for everybody who's called in. Thank you, Adam, Op, Willie, even though your opinion on Thor 2 was objectively wrong. No, it's your opinion is your own. Your opinion is valid unless you're Wing. But we really love hearing from you. It makes our day to hear y'all's voices. So keep them coming and we'll keep listening and we'll keep playing them.
Yeah, I just want to say again, thank you guys very much for calling in on the voicemails, especially Willie. I know we kid a lot with you, but it's fun kidding. We do enjoy interacting with you, so keep them coming. And if you haven't called in, go ahead, pick up a phone, give us a call. It's a toll-free number if you need the toll-free. We want to hear what you think. And thank you, everybody that comes and interacts with us live on Mixlr. It's really great for you guys to be our research arm as we stumble again. I remember certain things like names of characters or whatever that we should. So thank you very much for stepping up and interacting with us. It really keeps it fun, and we really appreciate that. So until next time, I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Bye. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofs.h.i.e.l.d.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin McLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.